Hello, dear OLLI students. My name is Annette Isaacs, and I am a German historian and public educator. I would like to invite you to come to my presentation about the life and times of Clara Schumann. You might not really be very familiar with Clara Schumann, and that is the biggest reason why you should come to this Zoom presentation that is happening on the 1st of September at 3:30 your time. Clara Schumann was married to Robert Schumann, the famous composer, and she was also, of course, a really, really great friend of Johannes Brahms. But these men are not going to play the biggest part in this presentation. We are going to dedicate ourselves to Clara, because Clara was on par, really, when it comes to, her prowess as a piano virtuosa. She was on par with Franz Liszt. She had a concert career that was 61 years long. Can you imagine 61 years? She started when she was 9. I mean, she started when she was like 3, but her first concert that she did in Leipzig at the big concert hall there was when she was 9 years old. And it's just the most amazing story. And she was a mother of 8. Of course, Robert Schumann died very early on. So she was in her late 30s, and she had to, of course, deal with these kids, as a single mother for the longest time. So please come to my presentation, you don't even have to come there. You can sit on your sofas at home or on your terraces and watch it via Zoom on the 1st of September at 3:30, the life and times of Clara Schumann. I hope to see you there. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Hello, my name is Isla Morley. I'm the author of The Last Blue. It's a story about a mysterious woman with blue skin who lives a banished life deep in the Appalachian wilderness in the 1930s, as she's discovered quite by chance by a team of documentarians, a journalist and a photographer who have been dispatched by President Roosevelt's Works Progress Administration to that area to capture the plight of the Hill people. But when they catch wind of a family that is quarantined deep in this valley and told to stay away from them, they take off in search of a headline story. I came across this story, which is based on a real-life medical marvel, quite by chance, and I was shocked to find very little information about it. Certainly nobody had written about it in novel form. And so this is really the story of Jubilee Buford, who has been the subject of prejudice and superstition, a lot of hatred, certainly some violence. And it is her journey to triumph over these adverse circumstances. For me, the story is more about identity and about belonging. The themes of family, love, connection, and meaning in our relationship with others.
I'm Liz Pollock, and I'm excited about giving you a presentation in September, on September 15th from 3:30 to 5, that's a Thursday, for the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at the University of the Pacific. The title of my lecture is Yesterday's Specials. I'm going to discuss some rare menus and cocktail lists ranging from 1940 to 1990. These restaurants reflect the broad spectrum of culture here in America. These menus reflect the atmosphere, the introduction of regional cuisine, for instance, fresh fish in San Francisco, steaks and beef in Chicago, very gourmet restaurants in New York City, and Hollywood and Miami. I know you're going to enjoy it, and I hope to see you soon.
Hi, my name is Leonard. I'll be presenting twice this fall for the University of the Pacific, one in a single lecture and then a short 4-week course. Just want to share the screen very briefly to give you a sense of what I'll be talking about. So in February, I'm going to publish this book, Whole World in an Uproar, which talks about the musicians from the late 50s into the early 70s that upset and disrupted music in amazing and sometimes radical ways. Off of writing that book, 2 ideas for lectures sprang out. One, this one in particular, I have to give a tip of the hat to Jennifer Juanitas for suggesting it. Women artists of the 60s, music and pushback on the cutting edge, where I'll talk about some of the seminal women artists of that period. I'll sample some of the key music. Unfortunately, I can't do as much as I'd like to, and some of the adversity and controversies they encountered along the way. This picture, just for your reference, is Janis Joplin, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, Laura Nyro, Nina Simone, Grace Slick, Carole King, Joan Baez, and Buffy St. Marie, and a few others. So that'll be a one-time lecture. I believe that happens, well, the date is not readily here, but it'll be in the calendar. The other 4-week course is going to be on the critical years of 1967 and 1968. From the Summer of Love to The Whole World is Watching Summer of Love. This is a poster on the left for the original Monterey Pop Festival in '67, and on the right is Chicago '68 at the Democratic National Convention. So I'll cover everything from the cultural scene, what happened in Monterey, the long hot summer of '67 into '68, the disruptions in the streets of Chicago, and quite a bit else. And intermixed with that is all the music that happened in the course of that. So that's just a little bit of a preview or a sampling. There's a lot in there and a lot of great music, and hopefully a lot of things that you haven't been aware of in a different context. And I look forward to seeing you then. Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Renata Brica. I'm speaking to you from France. Sorry I cannot attend the lovely afternoon you are having. I would like to introduce my next art history lecture that I'm going to present next semester. This time it is going to be on the unique Orthodox wooden churches of Eastern Europe. This is from my area. I'm familiar with it. I have been attending certain ceremonies. I will attend more. So I am researching on location. We will talk about the culture of it and the religious practices that source in Byzantium, some iconography. Perhaps I will introduce you to some ancient Cyrillic alphabet that is always part of every icon. This is one of my specialties. And I would like to also bring to your attention 3 art and wine sessions. They're listed in the catalog also on 3 different dates. These are in person and they are much fun. They are interactive. They are relaxing. You learn something new about 3 different Hagen Museum paintings. And after that, we will see them together through the adventures. In November, we'll go together to the Hagen Museum and see them in person. So those are 4 different opportunities to talk about art and to learn about art. And I will see you there. Thank you for your attention.
Hello everyone, my name is Wen Chen and I'm going to have a session on October 6th about the Renaissance of Chinese culture. China has 5,000 years of history. Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism influence the whole Chinese culture. For example, the foundation of Chinese medicine is a Taoism theory that each human body is a universe. So it is important to keep a smooth energy flow and a balance between yin and yang. Confucianism guided students and officials to improve themselves, take care of families, serve the country, and bring peace to the world. These spiritual practices kept a society stable, and even when China was ruled by other ethnic groups like Mongolians and Manchus, those invaders inherited these traditional values and became a new dynasty of Chinese people. But when the Communist Party took over China in 1949, the country fell into the hands of atheists. Most of the traditional value was destroyed by the party because they would not tolerate independent thinking to challenge the propaganda machine. During the Great Cultural Revolution between 1966 and 1976, the whole education system in China was shut down. Antiques were burned and ancient buildings were torn down. Over 2 million intellectuals died from persecution. People in China today still suffer from censorship and suppression. Textbooks distorted history. Chinese dance, music, and art became propaganda tools to praise authority. Can we still rescue the brilliant Chinese culture from communism? Who can do it and how to do it? I hope you can attend my session, The Renaissance of Chinese Culture, on October 6th to find out more.
From Muisai to World War II Heroes, a multi-generational tale of courage, resilience, and diversity. I was always fascinated by these two photographs. These Chinese-American warriors, my dad on the left with a silver star, and on the right is his kid brother Stan, a nose gunner and a B-24 Liberator. Well, Stan has a remarkable story which you need to hear.
Hey. My name is Sergeant Stan Lowe. I am a nose gunner in a B-24 Liberator in the Southwest Pacific. We call our plane the All-American Crew, and we have 10 swell guys flying this plane into battle to protect your freedom. Listen, my nephew Russ Lowe is going to tell our story, and I think you guys should be there to learn about us and our Liberator. We miss all the folks back home, so it's good to know that you guys are pulling for us. We have Lieutenants Reagan, Kirby, Crane, and Lesser flying and navigating the plane and dropping our bombs on the enemy. The rest of us sergeants fire our 50 caliber machine guns to knock down the Zeeks and keep our plane in the air. Hey, I gotta go to a briefing, so make sure you come to the show. Russ Lowe's got a great story to tell. I should know, 'cause we wrote the history books and that's no BS.
Well, Stan, of course, is a third-generation Chinese-American. His family story is deeply rooted in the history as told in 3 coins. His father is that Chinese laundryman and hop farmer. By December of 1942, the All-American Crew was thrown into the thick of battle in the Southwest Pacific over New Guinea. These young men of the greatest generation were from vastly different backgrounds. Ultimately, we are their legacy. The millions of persons worldwide from different cultures, religions, and nationalities. 80 years ago, these young men found strength in their diversity as they saved the world and preserved our freedoms.
It's good to be back with you for another fall semester. I'm looking forward to the programs that I'll be presenting this fall. We're going to start with great decisions right away on September the 1st. And for 9 weeks, we're going to look at some really crucial international affairs. I think it's a time in which the revival of international interest should really make this an exciting semester, with all the things that are going on in the world. Have the controversy related to Nancy Pelosi's trip to China, the war in Ukraine, the prospect of global famine because of the grain shortages, the increasing climate crisis. There are so many global issues that are important that we'll be examining in the Great Decisions program. So I hope you can join us for those programs. And after we get through most of the Great Decisions program, in November, we're going to do 2 programs related to the elections. We'll first look at the campaign and the issues that have arisen during the campaign. And then in the second lecture, we'll look at the results. And we'll finally find out whether, in fact, the January 6th hearings and the other developments, the recent new legislation that Democrats have been able to approve, are going to, and the impact of President Trump on the campaigns. So there's a lot to be examined, and we look forward to seeing you in the fall.
Hello, my UOP friends. This is Terry McAteer, and I'm going to come to you again with two classes this coming semester. One is a Thursday lecture that I'll be talking about California's governmental systems. We know so much about the federal government having, two houses and the executive branch and the judicial branch, but California's system is much different. As a matter of fact, we stole most of our Constitution from Iowa. So when we learn about California, we'll actually be learning about Iowa and how their system is set up, because it's different. It's different from the federal government, how our judicial branch is established, what the powers of our legislative branch are, and certainly the executive branch of government in this state is much different than our federal government. So during this Thursday lecture, I'll be discussing that and comparing and contrasting, so you'll have a much better understanding of the state of California's governmental system. My second class happens to be a two-part class, in which I'm looking at the worst presidents of the United States. No, this is not a political statement on Mr. Trump. We're not going to discuss him too much, but it is going to mainly be about those other presidents, the Franklin Pierces of the world that are we sort of pass them over. The Warren G. Hardings, who had an illegitimate child while in office. Those kinds of great stories we'll be sharing over this two-part class in the fall. So I hope you'll join me. It's a romp through California's legislative system, and it's also a romp through some really unique characters who became president of the United States. See you then. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Hi, this is Mike Agron, and I'm absolutely thrilled and delighted to have been invited back to present one of my favorite topics, celebrating perfect vocal harmony groups. It'll be Thursday, December 1st, 3:30 p.m. on Zoom. Last December, I had the pleasure of presenting my first topic, which was on exploring the intersection between entertainment and social justice, looking at songs from the Great American Songbook. This time, we're going to go on a different journey. We're going to look at how vocal harmony has made its contribution felt in big band and swing, with such groups as the Andrews Sisters, Paula Kelly and the Modernaires, the Pied Pipers, and then in vocal jazz with the Four Freshmen, Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross, the Hi-Los, and even the Manhattan Transfer. And then the underpinnings of doo-wop were made possible really because of vocal harmony. Such groups as Deanna the Belmonts, the Five Satins, the Flamingos, and of course, Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. And then in rock and roll, the Everly Brothers, probably one of the greatest duos ever of vocal harmony, who influenced so many groups and people such as Simon and Garfunkel and Brian Wilson and his Beach Boys. And we're going to take a look under the California sound of how Brian Wilson took sophisticated four-part jazz harmonies and fused them with the guitar riffs of Chuck Berry and created some of the most unforgettable music ever. Then we'll look at the British invasion. And of course, the British invasion brought us folk and folk rock, such groups as Peter, Paul, and Mary, the Byrds, Simon and Garfunkel, and the Buffalo Springfield, and many, many more. And then we'll close off with a wonderful celebration of vocal harmony in Motown. And what I hope you'll get out of this is to leave with a lot of smiles, even snap your fingers, move your feet, and let's just have a great time. So again, this is Mike Agron saying I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Thursday, December 1st. Mark your calendars at 3:30 p.m. Thanks again, and bye for now.
Hey OLLI members, I'm David Diskin, and I'm sorry to not be with you in person, but I am excited to tell you about the 3 classes I'm offering this semester and an all-new lecture. My first class over Zoom will be about using the PC for travel. I'll show you some of my favorite websites and apps that help me plan trips, coordinate with my family, save some money, and have fun along the way. That'll be on August 29th over Zoom. Also over Zoom, I'm going to talk about computer maintenance and upgrades, all the things that you should be doing at least once a year to keep your computer running smoothly and securely. This will be on September 19th. In November, you can join me on campus for Learn Your Laptop and Windows 10 or 11. Bring your laptop with you, and we'll talk about what all those ports and special keys do, and whether you have Windows 10 or 11, I'll show you some ways to personalize your computer, make it a little more fun, and tweak a few useful settings. That's November 7 on campus. And finally, in December over Zoom, I'm going to share with you what I've been doing to make my home smart. I'll virtually take you upstairs and down while talking about Alexa, my smart thermostat, LED lighting, door and window sensors, my Ring cameras, and more. It'll be a fun class for anyone who wants to dabble in a little home automation or just learn more about smart speakers like Alexa and Google. I'll even tell you a little bit about the experiences that I've learned connecting my mom's home to home automation as well, and what she's been through. That's going to be on December 15th over Zoom. Here's all 3 classes and my new lecture, which are printed also in your catalog. I look forward to seeing you and wish you a great semester with OLLI. Thanks for watching.